Welcome, Black Hollywood Live fans. You're watching the Aftershow for Queen Sugar, where tonight we talk infidelity and incarceration with our special guest, Timon and Durrett. Stay tuned for more.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live, Fashion 411.
What? Yes, we are. I said, I'm confused. Do I still retweet this link? Okay. There's going to be a new link. I don't know. Cool. You always do, girl.
Do I do the cold open again? Okay. All right. Welcome, Black Hollywood Live fans. You're watching the Aftershow for Queen Sugar, where tonight we talk incarceration and infidelity with our special guest, Timon and Durrett. Stay tuned for more. Welcome, Black Hollywood Live fans. You're watching the Aftershow for Queen Sugar. I am your host, Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
What's up, everybody? I'm Kelli Scates. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TheUrbanGypsyLA.
Hey, I'm Anjy Scates. You can find me on Twitter at Anjy_Skates and on the gram at Big_Anj.
Haha, what's up, guys? It's your host, Stacy. You can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. And in the building, got a special guest for you guys. A cheater. Oh. No, we're not sure how we feel. No, I'm totally kidding. What's up?
What's going on?
Yes.
Hey, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Timon K. Durrett and on Facebook at Timon Durrett.
Awesome.
Yes.
Man, pretty easy.
Timon in the building all
we had to start with...
Because he's not a cheater, guys. Like, that was a joke.
I don't know for sure.
That was a joke. Right.
Okay.
Actor version, Timon version.
Well, we had to start off with some happy music because other than a couple of nice moments with V in Hollywood, this was a kind of a sad episode.
Yeah.
It was
But-
heavy.
Tough.
But let's talk about the joy and the love of V in Hollywood. What do you guys think of that whole scene? And they were the bright moments of this episode.
Right.
There were a few of them. A few. I think the bright moments. I think they help to accent the balance that this show brings. You know, it's not all heavy. It's not all happy. It's real life. Like we have emotions. We have times where we're up, and we have times when we're really down. And this episode has a few kind of ups and a lot of downs that just kind of like, dang, you start to feel for them. And I'm just like, man, there were things that I saw that I had not seen. I hadn't seen any of the episode, like not watching it in Video Village or playbacks. I hadn't seen anything. So when I'm watching certain scenes, I'm like, oh man, that's messed up. Yeah.
Do you prefer watching it cold like that versus?
Yeah. I don't like to watch myself too much, especially while we're filming. People say, oh, let me go back and check that out, because I know I'm very critical of my work. Like when I'm not working, I am just the silly, fun, just crazy dude. But when I'm working, I'm just in it like, wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute. Can I get my hair and makeup? Look at my eyebrows. My tie is crooked. I did something weird with my lips. I'm very critical that way. So I like to just watch it, and sometimes I'm surprised, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that was all right.
That turned out all right. Yeah. Just trusting the director, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That's
I love
right.
it.
As far as the happy moments, though, I think when they played that song, it reminded me about like family
The May
get-togethers.
song?
Yeah,
It
the May
reminded
song.
me of like barbecues. And,
Right, so
yeah.
it makes you like in all that hard time. It reminds you like family is what usually can get you through.
Music too, though.
Music.
I feel like
That's
Cedric the
true.
Entertainer should like popped out. Like, hey, got you guys back. He didn't.
Well,
so.
the soundtrack for these episodes have been amazing. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like another character.
Yeah,
the soundtrack.
exactly.
It definitely
It
is.
definitely
It's
drives the
great.
story.
It drives the story, and it draws you in. I like the way that they ended with a happy song, because there was some really heavy moments.
Yeah.
And it's like when you remember when you used to get in trouble and your parents would reprimand you, and they afterwards they say, but I love you, and you feel a little bit better. Be like, man, I got in trouble, but at least it's a little bit better than what I just went through. So they just want to get a little bit of sugar.
Give me sugar.
Sugar. Right. Now, what kind of sugar is what we're really trying to figure out.
And speaking of extra characters, I always look to see if Charlie's wearing that massive wedding ring.
Yeah.
And
She still is.
every episode, I'm like, she's still wearing that wedding ring. And I think we saw the weight of the wedding ring this episode because she's having to play so many roles. She's like a jilted wife, but she's also kind of like manager and got to try to keep the house together.
Yep.
She's still mom.
Yeah, what did you think about her dual roles, especially in this episode, just having to juggle?
Well, I could see how it can be very weighted. She still has to, be strong as a wife, as a mother, and as a manager. With all of this stuff going on. Davis is in trouble with, the law and with the team. Her son is, got stuff going on. She's dealing with stuff like, I thought this was my girl, and now she's going behind my back, meeting with my husband's agent, and she's still, she's still poised and she still has that strength, but you can see that she's just, she's got that look in her eyes, like, okay, y'all don't know who y'all messing with. None of y'all.
It's kind of unfair that Charley has to deal with all that, because I feel like first episode I was like, okay, I can pick a favorite out of the siblings, and now I'm like, I really can't. Everyone has so much going on. And Charley, in addition to the wife and the manager, she's a sister. I mean, she's coming back to the $15,000 conversation after the whole day we just saw.
Right.
It's insane.
I think what can make it easier is if we learn what Davis is still keeping from her. I feel like there's something that we still don't know,
sure,
and he's not carrying his load in that family.
He doesn't seem to be.
Timon, Davis, I want to be on his side. People mess up, but it's.
What's up? But what's up?
Davis, he's very conflicted, but it also his all of this stuff that's going on, it causes the viewers to be conflicted too. It's like, man, he messed up, but he's trying, and his wife is working with him, so it adds to that, it keeps you off balance a little bit, not knowing this dude doesn't even seem like he is fazed by what's going on.
I agree.
And I think that's the thing that it's not that he's like, I don't care, or he's totally aloof. You see these little bits and pieces of, what is that? Okay, does he not care? He does care. Wait a minute, does he care? Or is he, it's just, it seems like he's there, but he's not present.
Yeah, he has his own internal struggle that he has going on.
He's got some other stuff going on in his own background.
What is it?
Tell us.
I noticed cinematography.
I'm wondering what it is too.
I noticed the cinematography when you guys are in the scenes together. We definitely see that Charley has tunnel vision, but when you guys are together, you blur out and she's in focus, and then it switches a lot. And I feel like that just shows her tunnel vision, but also that you guys are definitely not on the same page. You guys are both just going through the motions,
Well,
especially in that scene. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just think he's almost more like a child, where the moment he saw a little daylight where she kind of made things normal, what was to him normal because she was on his side for that meeting, he was like, we're
cool,
back.
we're good. Let's go to dinner. I'm like,
it was like she wasn't even listening to him. Like, she was still in that meeting.
Business
and was
mode.
like, I gotta go. And it reminded me of what you said last week. Like, we were wondering, was she gonna go back home? And Anjy was like, no, she's about her business. And we see that. She's not playing.
She's home to manage the home almost, right? And be a part of the home.
Right. But now I know why she's about her business, because I don't feel like I knew that she was the manager of the first episode. I don't know. Did I miss that?
Well,
Did they say it?
She has the MBA, and she's kind of
She's been doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, because I guess I'm very attached to what they call the meltdown scene. I was very attached to that version of Charley, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's a wife and she's a mom. That's who I want to know. And now seeing this episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got so much depth to her, and I really appreciate it, especially in the scene when they were talking about the prostitute and how much it would cost. You're ready to say, hey, let's go ahead and leave because this is ridiculous. And she wants to stay. Yeah. And as a woman, I was kind of like, that's interesting.
What makes me think what's going on, because you were like, oh no,
we gotta go.
That's not a good
didn't
move.
want to tell her full name at first. And then when
Her name Goldie.
And then when the attorney...
May didn't know, though.
No, because when the attorney said the name, he looked like, oh shoot, she got too much info. Like, how does she know all of this?
Interesting.
So
well, here's the thing that I helped to develop with Davis, but what I learned about him is that as long as Charley's around, he's used to getting his way. He is, 4-time NBA champion, 3-time MVP. He is the man. So now that this is coming up, it's like, yo, what's the big deal? You know what I'm saying? This kind of stuff happens. You know, y'all going way too extra. I could see if it was some dude riding the bench, but I'm Davis West. You know what I'm saying? So what? You know, like, come on, man. You know, I didn't rape nobody, but y'all need to quit tripping. I'm Davis West, and that's his inner monologue. Like, okay, I know that we're gonna get this taken care of, and I know Charlie's gonna handle it, but I just need Charlie to handle it and not ask me anymore.
Yeah, men do that a lot.
And there's almost that real world comparison of that Kobe Bryant case from many years back, and so it's just wondering how, as a professional athlete, and what Davis is going to handle this, because he's almost on his way out. Right. You know, that happened in time for Kobe.
Does he know he's almost on his way out?
Well,
he does.
He wanted one more ring.
You're right. He does.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how his psyche is able to handle kind of losing that plus this whole case. But
I mean, before all of this even came about, you know, Davis, he knew that he was, you know, as you can see now, that he was somewhat involved. I won't say how much, but he had even told Charlie, you know, what do I have, you know, 3 more good years. So he knows that if I have to rebuild now, I don't even know if I have time to get that 5th ring that I want. You know, he want his whole hand, you know, ringed out, you know. So he, this is another thing with him. It's just like, okay, let's just hurry up and get this junk over with so I can be a champion again. Right. This is, y'all still tripping. This shouldn't be happening to me.
And there's layers to him. Like, obviously he messed up, but I still want him to figure it out. And, you know.
But there's still that element of we don't know the truth. Yeah. We don't really know.
Yeah.
Especially in the preview, which didn't really give us everything we need to know, but we see that we are probably going to meet the prostitute. What's her name? Goldie? Because I'm not calling her that anymore. Goldie. And she says to Charlie, you don't know anything about your husband. And I said,
what could she be? Because at this point, you would think he would have divulged everything, but
no, because he barely
said anything the first time. Right?
He's barely saying that.
Still holding on to secrets, but they're gonna come out soon.
Yeah.
Well, we had some really sad moments with Ralph Angel. Like, I'm just rooting for this dude, and this dude is running up into everything.
Let me just say, I love Kofi though. Like, my God, his character is just.
And he fine.
Yes, this is true.
Cast is fine.
No,
they are. It's like,
Ava knew how to bake him right. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm saying, like, Black looks so good on screen. Let's just make that clear.
And all the shades.
And all the shades. The family's got so, like I said, it's just all this depth. But I just think what's so beautiful about Ralph Angel's character, again, that we talked about last week, and the development is just really evident, I guess, you know, because I immediately saw him as little brother with little brother tendencies. And you guys had different perspectives, and we've all kind of leaned on him in different ways, and now I'm seeing like he's really trying to hold everything up by his bootstraps. He wants to hold himself up.
I think he kind of has like that closed fist thing going on. He reminds me of Arthur the Aardvark meme. You know, he's holding on so tight, like nothing is coming in. He needs to kind of just let it go. You know,
hold somebody else's hand, like Remy,
and let Remy help him.
That was a dumb move. He let his pride get in the way and trying to prove so much that he's messing up.
Yeah, we know you can do it, Ralph.
I think that Ralph Angel, though, he well, you know, of course he messed up. He's coming off of an incarceration, a little over 6 months, and he wants to make things right. You know, but what they don't understand, you know, he's been estranged from Nova, and especially Charlie, having her celebrity life somewhere else while he's been here. You know, despite his mistakes and his missteps. He's the one that really wants to, you know, in the last episode, he said, why y'all so ready to pack up this man's life? You know, this is dad, you know, let's make it happen. And he's trying, and know that he's got a lot of redeeming qualities. He loves his son, this adorable little kid, Blue, and he's dealing with having to take care of him and incarceration, post-incarceration lifestyle, and his parole officer. And now it's like, okay, you put me in charge of this, let me handle it. And the fact that he messed up, you know, it's like, he tried, but it's so hard for him now. It's like, man, the one chance I got, I blew it. I just blew 15 stacks on some trash, you know, and that just crushes him. You know, it's like, man, I'm right back to, they're not going to trust me after this. So, you know, your heart goes out to him, man. It just makes you feel for him a lot, you know.
Yeah, it's just rough watching that, but we got a little bit more insight into the relationship between him and Nova.
Right.
Which, cause the entire episode, we're all kind of, Nova.
Yeah.
But then you find out she only visited him twice.
She's not perfect either.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang.
I understand that, though.
Right.
Like, as a sibling, it's like sometimes it's easier to deal with situations like that when you're not so close to it. You know?
I don't agree because at first when I saw all the interaction with the boys and her wanting to do the report on incarceration, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's because her brother was in jail, so she's really passionate about it. So then when he says, oh, you only came and visited me twice, I'm like, well, girl.
Maybe that's her trying to redeem herself.
Maybe, but I'm like, how are you so understanding in all these other cases, but your own brother, like, you're not there for him even in that post-incarceration period. Like, that's a whole process to get reacclimated to society. Yeah.
I think it's you can just see it was very painful. I'm not gonna lie, during that scene I was very vocal, like, but why weren't you there, Nova? Like, you didn't give us a reason. Because she was like, I'm so sorry I wasn't there. I'm like, but why weren't you there?
Why?
Like, So I it's hard to say, okay, maybe it's easier or whatever, but what you said probably rings a lot of truth. I mean, if it's that close to you, if it's your brother dealing with this situation, things were already falling apart. I mean, her love life, this, that, and the third, whatever. She's not that close to Charley. Maybe it just felt easier to rehabilitate other people that had nothing to do. At the end of the day, she goes home and doesn't have to bring that with her.
And we still don't know what he did.
Well, Ralph Angel, when he was applying for the job in the previous episode, he said, the man asked, what are you going to say, you innocent too? And he said, no, I did it, but I'm not about that life anymore. And maybe, Nova's thing is, my brother did what he did, but these guys are minors, and they didn't do what's being said. So she's trying to fight for the innocent. Like, my brother wasn't innocent. It's probably why she didn't go, because you know better, dude. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to come and support you when you did wrong. These minors are being tried as adults, and they've been put in, maximum security prisons and treated like hardened criminals when these trumped up charges with the prison and the industrial complex. I think she's fighting the system, and his brother her brother just kind of, like, you screwed up, dude.
Right.
And she probably, and you judge the ones that are closer to you a little bit more harshly because she knows how he was brought up. She knows that he had the same opportunity they all had.
Right.
And so she probably...
He did know better.
I mean, okay, but I'm still...
But still, you got to go more than twice, though.
What you said, that's, like, so real. Like,
Still
that,
family,
I get it. He actually was wrong, and I appreciate that. Ralph Angel hasn't even said, I wasn't wrong. He hasn't had any excuses. He's really trying to be about it. So I appreciate that, but
you still got to
that hurt. That scene was like, no, you weren't there for him, because we're watching him lose $15,000. We're watching him trying to rebuild with the woman, that he had the baby with, and it's just a lot, and they're not around, and I'm like,
but that's real life, though. That's what I love about this show. It's just like, it's real life.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I love the way Ava does it, because sometimes you can get lost in a show and the entertainment, and then all of a sudden she brings you right back, because then you go, incarceration is actually a real problem.
Right.
And so they dig into the private prison problem, and it just immediately felt very personal. And I know for me, because I felt like this is a situation I could have been involved in, anyone could have been involved in. And so what do you guys just think about how that real world issue is being addressed?
Well, I don't think it's being addressed really at all. Yeah. The moment an issue comes up, I don't want to throw out any specifics, but when something that should be reported, something pertinent that comes to light, oh, well, we know this is happening over here. It's like you ever try to do a photo shoot with a baby, and you hold up that little thing. Hey, look over here. Here. No, not that. Look over here. And they do that. They kind of push it under the rug. But I will say this, there is a lot more that's being reported, and if people do a little bit of digging, you'll start to see how real that episode is in regard to that. I'll say that much.
She tackles it from all sides. We get it from the inmate's perspective. We get it from the investigative journalist perspective. We get it from the lawyers, the lawmakers. Like, she is, like, giving it a full scope.
In addition to that, we get it from a civilian like V, who said, how can this not, how is this not
Right, how come I didn't know this?
How come, I love that truth. And how come I didn't know? She's a black woman with a nephew who has also been incarcerated, and she doesn't know.
And then we find out Nova's man is a cop too in this episode.
Yeah, I was like,
and tied to her being able to get this extra information.
That's what I mean.
So that's what I was trying to figure out.
I was trying to find out. Got it.
And that's what I love about this. And I'll say the Obama administration recently just said they're phasing out their use of private prisons. Yeah. And so, but unfortunately, it's like a small percentage. So a lot of them are state run. But it's just really cool to watch the show address a very pertinent issue right now.
It's also very eerie how parallel it is to what's happening right now. Like, literally right now, as in yesterday, today, last week, last month. It's it's weird, and I just wonder, and I was kind of saying it while we were watching the show, like, who's watching the show, or who do we need to tweet the episode to, or who do we need to talk to so that they see? Because people like to see it through art before they actually identify it in their real lives for some reason.
I think that's the purpose of art, to put a mirror
So
up to
I need
society.
you to watch Queen Sugar. I mean, get it together.
I mean, you know what they say? They say art imitates life, imitates art. And, you know, I'll say this to the viewers. What you're watching is real.
Yes.
It's real. You have to, I mean, you know, familial issues and life of post-incarceration and all that stuff. But everything that was touched on in the show so far can happen or has happened in real life. And the stuff that they touched on tonight is happening right now. Right now. Like, at this very moment, somebody's going through the same thing that Too Sweet is going through on the show in real life. So just keep that in mind, everybody.
Yeah, I think...
I just also want to say that there's a prison strike going on right now that a lot of people don't even know about. And it's a big mass prison strike with
It's the biggest one in U.S. history.
Literally, it's about 24 states, about 40 prisons, and it's over a week long. There've been hunger strikes, and they're all fighting against the free prison labor, because essentially they make no money and they're essentially slaves. And then you think the 13th Amendment says no involuntary servitude, but there's a carve out for people that have committed crimes. And so this is just, it's so crazy that Ava's able to really spot on identify these issues.
As well as the directors.
I mean, even if, you know, people, I mean, I'm a big nerd. I like to go and do research on certain things, but this is something that, you know, is near and dear to me, because I like I said, I've had my, you know, share of getting into things that I shouldn't have gotten into, and I was fortunate enough to go down a path only a certain amount to where I can come back and go another way. But you know, it's a shame that you have something so big and prevalent, but nobody knows about it. You know, the United States houses more of its own citizens in prisons than any other country in the world, and most of them are black, and that's not something that's personal. I tell people, don't believe what I'm saying. Go do the research on your own, and you'll see that what we're showing you on this show is real. It's very real, and that's what, you know, that helps to lend to the authenticity of this show. It's like when you watch it. Now, I was so into this kind of information before I'd even booked this part, before I even heard about the show. And when I heard it, I was just like, boy, y'all better write this down show. Y'all better write this show.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I mean, it hits me close to home, because, you know, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, a lot of gang activity, and, you know, like, you know, you got to be rough and tumble. You cannot, you can grow up fighting literally, and you have to be so careful that, you know, you can be fighting to defend yourself, and them cops are coming in, they gonna wipe all, we get all of them. You know, it's like, you know, you bounce the ball and you rack up all the jacks, they get as many as they can, and it's unfortunate, and that's a fact. It's not all of them, but, you know, again, it's real. So
and I think we touched on it last time. It's just getting these people convictions, coercing them into, you know, taking a plea deal. But when you have
they're minors.
When you have a very, like, a bargaining system where one person's severely disadvantaged, they're going to be taken advantage of. And so it's just a shame. But something that was said, I guess Charley to Micah in that car was, you know how they do to black men, essentially. They demonize black men. And it's just one of those conversations you could talk about so many different parts of society. But I thought about Davis, and I thought a little bit about OJ, and why he did have so much support, because we know how quick society can be to demonize, like, very strong, popular black men. And so Davis is kind of going through the same thing right now. At the same time, he is in the wrong.
And it still has Charley there rooting for him. It's still mimicking real life.
So I'm interested to see if we'll see some of that society kind of come on his side, because right now it looks like all the blogs are, you know, kind of hating on Davis.
Well, I mean, there are a few, most of them I can say, they're like, oh, you know, he got what he deserved. They're mad at Davis, you know, like, dude, you screwing up. But even more mad because they see that Charley is, you know, she's still with you, dude. So it just adds more fuel to the fire that you really screwed up, because this woman, you know, and it takes the strength of a woman a lot of times. I'm not trying to just, you know, pat y'all on the back, but you know, sisters are some strong, precious, and powerful creatures on this planet. But like I say, it makes especially the female viewers, it makes them even more upset with David. It's like, look at what you messed up.
Right.
This woman got your back. You know, you got this kid and you got this woman who helped you make all this money, and you do her like that with a prostitute. Yeah. Like, man, you gotta.
I think that was just what was so weird about. You know, I wouldn't say 180 because really you had lied to us from the beginning, but it's okay. You know, just because I was so in love with you guys' relationship the first episode.
They gave us that moment of, he wasn't part of it.
We were like, yay! We can root for Hollywood beat. And you did it?
We fell for it. Oh, I fell for it.
That was hard.
I don't know why I believed it so much. I don't know. There was so much sincerity in the relationship, and then you got to see Hollywood and me, and I'm like, yay! Look at this really happy-go-lucky show I'm about to watch. Should have known, but
like, and then tears for the rest of the
rest of the thing. You're like, oh, like that was tough. Like,
it's tough on Micah too, though. Like this is weighing on him a lot.
I was gonna say first before we go too deep into Micah, that car conversation. She says, "Be prepared," and so I guess my question is, how do we prepare young men to become demonized, young black men, and how they become demonized so easily?
I don't know.
I think you live it, right?
You gotta be straight 100 with them. You know, nowadays this is not the time to sugarcoat anything. You cannot mince words. You can't mitigate. You cannot, kind of skirt around issues. This is what it is. Understand what it is. Know it. Yeah. Because if you don't, I used to talk to friends of mine. I talked to my sons. I said, listen, this is how you deal with this, and this is the only way you deal with it if you want to come home alive, because they see it. Friends of mine, a friend of mine in Chicago, one of the deaths that they barely reported on was her nephew. I mean, just shot cold blood. We thought he had this or that. And the gang violence and all that stuff it's a crazy time. But I think that when she said be prepared, that means that I know don't let the light skin fool you, dude. You black, and they can they will and have, and it seems systematic, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is, and I don't think that there's any time for sugarcoating anything nowadays, especially, and I think that's what it showed in the show. She's telling them, be ready.
And the tough part is, I think you have to be giving that message to black men at 5, 6, 7. Because we had Tyree King, we had Tamir Rice, 13 years old, 12 years old. So these are messages we have to give our kids.
Can you imagine
early.
giving Blue that message with his innocent self?
And that's what's so crazy about Micah's reaction, because he was like, "What, black men? Like me?" Because I feel like my brother's 22, and it's crazy. I was yelling at him yesterday. Hey, he was driving. I said, "Do you have your seatbelt on? Do you have this?" He's like, "Calm down, get off the phone." I'm like, "You're black." Literally, I just freaked out. He's 22 and still wants to be innocent, and that's so unfair that we have to take that away from them.
Yeah. Right.
When Micah's reaction was so telling to, "Come on, I just want to go to school and be with my girlfriend and live life, and we're back in town. It's all good." And it's like, when she said be prepared, it just meant like 50 different things at once.
Right.
It was really...
Especially in today's climate. I try to keep my license so I can reach it, not in my pocket, so I'm not reaching for anything.
Right.
But those are the things we have to think about these days, because at the end of the day, I do want to come home alive.
Right.
So,
Too deep.
Well,
for a Wednesday afternoon. Too deep for a Wednesday night.
We gotta come up for air for
Can we go back to being Hollywood or something, please?
Well, let's talk about perhaps sending certain types of pics to people over social media. So what did you guys think about that little turn? Because we still don't know where it's going, but yeah.
Micah said that it wasn't him, and you can see that he was sincere. Like, I didn't even know about what the picture was until he just said it. Yeah. And it goes back. Not trying to go as deep as we had just gotten, but it's either he's being set up or regardless. But once Davis's name was tainted. Guilty by association, brother. Right. You tainted too.
Sins of the father.
That's right. Yeah. Sins of the father go on to the son. I'm paraphrasing, but you see how you're all right if your reputation is cool, but once your reputation is not cool, you're a no good, do dirty black man's son. And
So hard.
but going back to the picture, it to me, it's when I first read it, I'm like, wait a second, and then I kept reading. It looks like a setup to me.
From the mom.
The mom looks a little shady.
Oh, shady.
Shady.
She looked like 12 a.m. So much shade. No sunlight.
Amazing that.
All shade.
I'm gonna start walking around. You look like 12 a.m. I'm going to use that tomorrow. Tweet that. That's it, y'all. That's it. Don't steal it up there. Quick comment question: do you think the reaction of Micah's girlfriend would have been different if he was dating a black woman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. I mean, if it was a black girlfriend, a black mama, I think so. Just because they understand the struggle a little bit better. There's
even though you were still, according to us, we think you're guilty or whatever.
I think that there will be a little more reason. Let's just you guys take it easy. I don't want my daughter to be involved with the paparazzi and things like that. Let's see how it goes. You guys can still communicate on the phone and stuff like that. But public image, I don't want my daughter involved with that.
Exactly.
To just be like, oh, he did that, so you did it too, cutting you off. I think it would be a little more compassion and understanding, especially from like I said, the power and the compassion and the big hearts of black women, and I think it would have been different.
I think that the mom in that situation, regardless of her race, would still be protective of her daughter.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think that they would, like you said, would be so willing to kind of contrive.
I think I agree that the mom, our black mom, would have talked directly to her and let her know what's up, and would not have tried to get the little boy expelled, knowing that he didn't do anything personally.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look at how it. I don't even know if it borderlines on hate. I mean, to do something like that to a child. This kid didn't do anything.
The future.
He was all right when. Davis's reputation was shining. Right. My daughter is the girlfriend of the superstar.
Exactly.
But the fact that she didn't have his back and let him you're gonna let your boyfriend get expelled because you out here being fast.
Well, you can see that. You can see the oh my gosh in her face.
That's not enough.
Well, I know.
But she's also 15, so she's dealing with the pressures of that situation and the mom, and and we're still not sure exactly what took place or how this picture came to light.
Or did she actually cheat?
But I don't know what's happening. But we have all these serious issues we talk about. She's
like what? She's like, what?
I don't trust nobody.
Right. Nobody. Seriously.
I can't wait to hear your prediction on that one. But we have all these serious issues on set. Was it the same way, or were you guys able to keep it light? How are you guys, as a cast, able to kind of like?
No, on set we're like family. I mean, there's no one that's so in character that they can't be who they are. I mean, sometimes when we have preparation time, we'll go to our trailers and we take that time, or when we're on set and they're setting up for a different camera angle or something like that, we'll just kind of go off into our corners if it's calls for something heavy. Some of us have different. Processes. Like me, I can in and out. I can jump in and jump out. Other people, they wanna kind of keep it smooth. I'm like a drag racer. I'm like I can speed in there, and then I can hit the brakes and chill. Other people, they're a Prius. We just want to just slow down a little bit and then come in like more fluid like water. I'm more like a boulder. Once I hit it, I'm stopping. But it's never been so. It's never tense. I mean, everybody. I've had one-on-one time with every single cast member in the principal cast, and wonderful people. Just Ava, there's a quote, I don't know if you've seen it on social media, where she says, I don't just cast for talent, I cast for spirit. And every single one of them.
It's very obvious.
There was never a time when at least two of us was not together. And I'm talking about the entire time we were there. Like my friend, I'll just say Hollywood, Omar Dorsey, from day one. We didn't get to New Orleans till almost 11 p.m. Hey, man, what you about to do? Nothing. What you about to do? Let's go to the casino, hang out. Right. 4 a.m, just hanging out. So it's that kind of dynamic. But when you get on set, you see the commitment and the compassion.
Yeah.
And, they're very inspirited and very mindful of the gravity of this show and what it brings and what it means to the viewers and to us. All female directorial team. You got Queen Oprah. upcoming queen Ava, and you have all these other queens. A lot of women are in charge, and that brought a lot of balance to me, and I loved it. But there was never any heavy times or beef or dissension between any of the cast members, none that I know of.
Yeah, well, I just imagine everyone just singing like "We Shall Overcome" every day. Oh my God, because it's such heavy material.
But that's what we would do if we had time. After we shoot, some days we got off a little earlier, and as soon as we're done, what y'all doing tonight? What y'all doing later
let's
on?
just
Let's go listen to some music, or let's go to the movies. Let's go hang out. I mean, even if it was just we go over to Omar's apartment, and it was just a party all the time. We just hang out. I'd never been a part of a cast where every single one of the principal cast, it is family. It's not like family. It is family. Family doesn't just mean blood. It is family. With all of it. So I love that part of it.
Yeah,
really
it's so
awesome.
important to decompress when you're talking about those issues kind of day in, day out, and acting them. So you're not just talking about them, but you guys are like,
You're playing
you live it, you
it.
feel it. It's inhabiting you. Yeah.
Other than your own, what's the line do you run to see like, oh my God, what are they going to talk about? What other storyline are you very attached to?
You mean just for the show in general? I look at my work and I'm very critical of myself, and I see I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like to watch everybody else because they brought like Dawn-Lyen Gardner. I tell her all the time, and I was like, girl, you are so dope. Because people have asked me, how do you prepare for the scene? And I say, sometimes there's only so much preparation I can bring because the director is going to bring something. Excuse me, and and Dawn or Kofi or whomever, they bring so much realism to it that it's kind of not acting. You know your lines, you know what to say, you know the essence of the scene, but some of the stuff is unexpected. Like the scene where Charley comes out on the court. I didn't know when she was coming, literally. She came over and I'm like, oh, they didn't let me know when. We never set up a time. Well, when you're doing this, she's going to come over, and the basketball stuff is happening, and then I got a tap on my shoulder. I'm thinking it's Ava, like, okay, let's do this. I turn around and it's Dawn, and we're still shooting. And I was literally like, whoa, what?
You did look very
Wow. So there were certain points where it was so realistic that it wasn't even acting. But I'm very interested in Ralph Angel and Darla's storyline.
Yes.
And the first episode when Darla shows up at the hospital, and I swear that scene.
That's my favorite.
It just right now I just get a chill because this fragile little woman is
like this
trying
flower,
so hard, and I'm like, dude, come on, bro. You should, of all people, should know how much forgiveness means. Like, come on, man. And my heart went out to her, and I'm tough, man. I mean, but I had the biggest. Ava did a special screening for us in New Orleans, and just the principal cast, and that scene messed me up. I was like, this girl, Bianca Lawson is a beast.
Yeah.
And in person, she's so sweet and funny and silly,
and cute.
But I watched that scene, and I was like, oh man, how much longer we got?
The ability of the show to touch that nerve that makes you just like want to weep.
Even we talked about it last week, with their love scene, and they said no word.
Yeah.
I've never seen a love scene
The chemistry,
that has had no word. Like their relationship that's such a good one to touch on. We didn't get to see her this episode, but whenever she creeps back in, I always hope he's forgiven. But the protection is really real and important because I think if it was vice versa, a woman would have also protected her son just as fiercely.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's what's so interesting about it because he's just as fierce as she would have been. I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. So I don't know.
Well, we got some predictions that are coming up. So
I'm ready for these.
The previews don't give us too much, so
Yeah, it is not enough.
we need an after show for the previews, as I said. 'Cause I'm still trying to decipher them. But let's go predictions. Let's zoom in on your face so we can see his reaction to what we say.
We kind of don't lose your job. So we tried to get Mary Conn to do that last week.
We think we're gonna meet Goldie, so I think for sure we're gonna find out what's really going on. I think we're gonna find out that you, my friend, have been up to some actual intimacy with this woman, and that's my biggest thing. I want to see what's going to happen with her. I was surprised. I didn't think we were going to actually meet her.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an all-out war with her. Charley is gonna go in, and you might get caught up in the crosshairs. I don't know.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should. I'm very interested to find out about her name is Stella, the girlfriend. This is her mom. I need to know what you're doing. Like, I don't know. I have a weird feeling that Stella didn't cheat, that we was just kind of this backstory of the mom trying to do some stuff.
You real optimistic.
I know. I mean, she's 15. Like, she did seem like she really liked him and really wanted to, like, protect him. She didn't want him to see the site. So I'm trying to, like, take all that into consideration.
Our viewers don't trust Stella either.
They said Stella
should not be trusted.
Micah should not
Okay,
take the fall.
maybe. No, I definitely don't think Micah should take the fall. I think that's insane. But first, I just want to. I want to just put it on the mom for now
It's
because they are
possible, though,
kids.
that
I'm like,
just made it all up.
I could see that. She
for
in
sure.
every single mom, she was like, I wish you would have checked with me before you came over. And it's like, and the girl seemed like, why would you check in with you?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a girl who was like, I'm conspiring with my mom. It
true.
just doesn't.
That's true.
It doesn't
She
seem
seemed like
like
she
it.
was caught off guard too. Like
Right.
dinner, like that was last week. What are you
Right.
talking about?
She
Like,
didn't lie for
put her mom
her.
on blast.
Right.
You know, like,
That was my
nah.
favorite scene. She said, Mom, what you talking about? Get out my room. Rich people. Anyway, rich girl.
Caucasian.
Moving on. So I'm really interested in that, and then I really would love to see Ralph Angel and Nova's relationship. I want to see what happens next. I appreciate that he said, "You've been here, and where you at? What's your excuse?" That was so real,
Right.
and because it's his older sibling, like man, as an older sibling, that would have really hit me hard. So
Right.
she did come and say, "I got your back." I want to see how much of his back she's got. So that's who I'm really interested
What
in
about
right now.
Vi in Hollywood? Somebody's cheating there, no?
No! Girl, don't
No,
piss
she
me
said,
off
why
right
you
now.
didn't answer my phone call
Oh, from
or
the
something.
preview, yeah, but we don't know.
No one's...
What
no.
about-
But
No.
I can't assume he's cheating. Just
Unacceptable.
yeah.
What about
Unacceptable.
Nova and her boo though?
Yeah, so that's weird.
Because she wrote this article and that's one of her inside men. So maybe he gets caught up in something.
I think we don't know Nova yet. I think I
don't.
think she's.
And we barely know him.
I think she's got principles and values and morals, and we've seen those, but we haven't seen Nova the person.
Yeah.
Because I think we all have an idea of who we are. Like we fight for certain things and causes, but then behind closed doors, we're just very frail, and so we haven't seen. I think Nova's probably more fractured than we all realize.
For
she is.
sure,
Absolutely.
for
She's
sure.
probably more caught up a little
Look
bit
at,
too.
I mean, there's been a tsunami of predictions and questions and assumptions and things like that. But hearing all of you all like, well, maybe this and that. That's one thing I do like about the show and the previews, the little teasers. Coming up on Queen Sugar and like, well, wait a minute. It's not.
God.
The show is not. It's not predictable.
Right.
Even when I would get each script and I'm reading it, I'm like, wait a minute,
Right.
wait a minute. So I'll say this: there are. I'm not going to say if you guys are right or wrong. I'm not going to say if you're hot or cold, on the right track, or the right direction. But I've after each episode, I've seen a lot of tweets and heard from friends and family, like, "Hey, I didn't see that coming," or like, "Wait, where did that come from?" and things like that. So it kind of, like I said, it keeps you off balance. And it forces you to use your spiritual core muscles. Like, wait a minute, let's see what happens. Because all of these, predictions. When you think about it, they're not so far fetched from real life.
Yeah.
When people make these predictions, it's like that could happen in real life, and that can happen in real life. I've not seen one, and that just, again, it leads to the authenticity of the show. There has not been one prediction from viewers that is so far fetched that it couldn't be real.
Right.
I won't say it couldn't be in the episode, but it could. It's not so far fetched that this could never happen. And I love that about this show. That it is so. It is so steeped and replete with the reality of life that it draws you in. Like, wait a minute. Did she set that boy up? You know what I'm saying? You ain't about nothing. And you see stuff on Instagram and Twitter, some of the same stuff. You see text message. Look at what she text messaged me. Busted. You know what I'm saying? Delete. Unfriend. Hashtag shady as 12 a.m.
I'm gonna go ahead and actually steal a prediction that I had originally written off, and that was from Stacy. I think that Goldie might be a girlfriend of Davis, and that Because, there's a reality of the situation, and I saw these different stories play out in real life, where it was like, I think it was one football player was dating a girl, and then he asked her to have sex with some of his friends, and now there's like a rape charge. And so I'm wondering if that reality is so prevalent a lot of times amongst sports teams and things of that nature. So I wonder, and it's been playing so well to the presentness of what's happening today. So I wonder.
And that would make sense why the team is going separate from Davis's case.
Because they're like, but that's your girl.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So-
that's what it is.
So we'll see. But we just want to thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Man.
This has been amazing.
I'm glad I got to come, even though somebody brought food and didn't bring anything.
But I'm on blast on
I
camera.
won't say anybody. Oh, you
Listen.
reacted. I didn't say anybody.
Oh,
you gave
he
yourself
barely
away.
reacted. I had no choice.
Well, now we know. Do better.
I'm trying
Do
for
better.
everyone next week. Okay.
Well, guys, my name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
I'm Kelli Scates. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at The Urban Gypsy LA.
I'm Anjy Scates. You can find me on Twitter at Anjy_Skates.
I'm Stacy. You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. And a huge shout out to my girl Kay who wrote this episode. I love you.
And where can they find you?
Yep. You can find me at Instagram and Twitter at Timon K. Durrett and Facebook at Timon Cal Durrett. Good job, everybody, on this episode. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you,
Amazing
guys.
job.
Have a good one, y'all.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Peace.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Christie, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live. Scipio, Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.